So what is up guys, Vulcan here, and today I'm doing a little bit of a pro tips video with myself. So I currently am pushing a max account which is called Yusuf. I got this account about 2 days ago. So this is the deck that I used to push all the way up from 5,600 trophies to 6,175 trophies. As you can see, on the Yusuf account, this is my season highest, and that's the deck I'm using. I might end up switching decks because a lot of times the decks that you use to get to top 200 don't necessarily work as well in the top 200, but this is definitely a solid deck and probably my favorite, well, definitely my favorite ladder deck at the moment. And really the reason it's so good is because on ladder you face a lot of Three Musketeers, you face a lot of Expo, and this deck gets it gets destroyed by Three Musketeers. But a lot of times, if the Three Musketeers makes a mistake, then you can still win the matchup. And versus like Expo, you win every single time. Versus Hog Cycle, you can usually win. So overall, it just gives you a lot of opportunity to outplay your opponent, and that's why I like it so much, because that's getting out of the top 200 is all, or getting to top 200 is just all about outplaying your opponents. So I have 6 replays here. First replay is against a 3 Musketeer player, which is a very hard matchup and very easy to lose. One thing you'll notice when I play this deck is that I never start off Giant. The only card I'm willing to start off is Mega Minion or Miner. And I'll explain why that is in a minute. But he's about to pump up here, and as soon as he pumps up, I Giant at the bridge. I'm kind of debating like whether I play Mega Minion or Prince. I think I've been finding that Prince works better in a lot of situations than Mega Minion to punish. So I go Giant Prince at the bridge. He's just defending this, and I try to miner out his pump, but unfortunately my miner doesn't end up killing it. So I'm just going to sacrifice the Dark Prince damage on the right because I don't want to fall behind an elixir, and since this is such a hard matchup, you kind of have to sacrifice tower damage in order to win. I do defend his bandit literally just because I want to cycle back to my miner, or so I don't want to take too much damage. Yeah, I'm basically just playing cards here just to cycle. Pretty much the only reason. Maybe an unnecessary Mega Minion, but I really didn't want it to get more damage on my tower, because if that Battle Ring would have connected, I would have been down to like 1,000 HP, and that would have been really bad. So here, I literally just play my Giant so my Electro Wizard doesn't die. I know that if you were to play Three Musketeers like right here, well, he does play Three Musketeers right here, which is fine. I think I might end up, no, I don't make a mistake. I play Prince into the lane, and then I defend his other lane with Dark Prince. That's really what you want to be doing. You want to basically, I sacrificed a little bit of tower damage there, but it was so that my Dark Prince stayed alive and could kind of get a counter push going. That was a terrible Mega Minion. That was a mistake. And it ended up costing me because he was able to battle ram and get a lot of damage on the right tower. So now I'm just kind of like panic defending. I really don't want him to finish on my tower. I know that he doesn't have a big spell. He doesn't have a miner. So as long as I can defend this lane at all costs and just miner to take out the other side, I win the game. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be sitting back and defending. Thankfully, I got off a really nice punish at the start of the game. If I had not taken out most of his tower at the start of the game, I would have been in a really bad situation. But I did, so I'm in a good situation. And here, I know I can sacrifice damage on the left side, but at the same time, 2 Musketeers will take my tower. So I have to defend it with a Dark Prince, and I'm just playing defense here. I'm just throwing out as many cards as possible. I play a Mega Minion there because if I played Electro Wizard, the Barbarians would have killed it. And I get a Prince in front. I'm just trying to keep my Electro Wizard alive. I'm just blocking this lane as much as possible. And now that there's like 5 seconds left, I can cycle back to a miner and pretty much win the game from there. Oh, he doesn't predict my miner. He plays kind of a bad battle ram, but it didn't end up mattering. And I end up getting the victory. So yeah, I guess you can see a lot of times I do lose to 3 Musketeers, but that was one of the situations where I got a really good punish off at the start, and I ended up winning the game. So we are up against Logbait in this deck, which is another, it's an iffy matchup. Sometimes I win it, sometimes I lose it. Usually I'm able to win it because I can outplay people, but if I go up against a really good Logbait player, then it's really hard to win. Yeah, so he starts off aggressive, and since he threw out that Ice Spirit, I knew I had to defend with my Dark Prince and my Mega Minion just because otherwise his Goblin Barrel would have got a ton of damage from my tower, and I cannot afford to sacrifice any damage from my tower. In double elixir, I can sacrifice damage, but in single elixir, I can't. And another thing you want to do versus Logbait is as soon as they attack, make sure you throw your giant in front of whatever troops you're counter pushing with, because you need to get value out of your troops. If you throw like a Dark Prince and a Mega Minion to defend, which is necessary to do, and then you don't throw a tank in front of that Dark Prince and Mega Minion, then your opponent's going to be able to defend those troops for like 3 elixir, and you're going to have a huge elixir disadvantage. But if I throw a giant in front, then they won't be able to defend quite as cheaply. And well, it basically just makes them spend more elixir, which is good because it makes it harder for them to play their next Goblin Barrel. And kind of in like right there, I just have a Dark Prince going down lane. I'm not going to support it just because it's a lone Dark Prince. But say I had like a Mega Minion behind that Dark Prince, I probably would have supported it. He plays a bit of an interesting Goblin Gang. Well, it was a good Goblin Gang, but it allows me to basically gain like a 3 elixir advantage. And here I do play Giant in the back just because... Oh no, okay. Here I played Giant Prince at the bridge, and here's why. First of all, he just basically completely wasted a Goblin Gang. And second of all, he has nothing to defend my Prince. I know that he can defend this push probably, but he's going to have to cycle a lot of cards. He's in a really awkward cycle. And so literally just because he wasted that Goblin Gang and was down on elixir, I knew I could go aggressive there because he has nothing else to defend my Prince. And that was really a trick there. So now that I basically took his tower, I recognized his Prince was out of his Goblin Gang was out of cycle. I can just finish off the tower with Minor Poison, and I'm going to defend for the rest of the game. I Dark Prince and Zap. Here I'm literally just playing defense. I got the win. I got the game. If I hadn't taken out the tower there, I would have... Or if he hadn't played his Goblin Gang, I would have just started my Giant in the back and tried to build up a big push. But since he played his Goblin Gang, I didn't need to do that. And I ended up getting the victory. I just defend from here, and... Good game. So that's kind of how you play against Logbait. If let's say your opponent doesn't overcommit, you don't want to Giant at the bridge unless your opponent kind of makes a misplay, or you know their Goblin Gang is out of cycle or something like that. Usually you want to throw Giant in the back, but it's always important that you defend the Goblin Barrel as much as possible. You never really want to sacrifice Goblin Barrel damage on your tower unless it's double elixir and you have a big push going. But in single elixir, you never really want to sacrifice Goblin Barrel damage. So that was the win against him, and now we're going to go up against this deck, which is another hard counter. And I'd say 9 times out of 10 I lose this, maybe 8 times out of 10. But yeah, usually I lose this, but I did manage to get the victory in this one. And he misplayed a little bit. He goes aggressive at the bridge here. I don't really know why he did that. It was a pretty terrible play, and because of that, I'm able to Prince, and I kind of have to... Here's the problem with this deck. You always have to overcommit on your defense because I don't really have any cheap defense. So they're able to out-cycle you, and once they get an elixir advantage, it just turns out really bad. But, yeah, I do end up getting more damage on his tower than he gets on me, so I'm already ahead, which is good. I do Giant in the back, I think. Yep, against 3 Musketeers, it's really hard to tell when you should Giant in the back versus when you should Giant in the front. Because the problem with Gianting at the river to punish a pump is that they can play a minion horde and completely destroy your whole push. But so if you Giant in the back, then you can build up a big push and kill that minion horde and be able to actually get value out of your troops. So it just kind of depends. And also depends what 3 Musketeer deck you're facing. So it's really hard to tell like when to punish versus when not to punish. But I would just say, if you're at full elixir, play your Giant in the back. If you're not at full elixir, probably play your Giant in the... Well, if they pump up, just play your Giant, you know, to attack the pump. There I lose my tower, which is gonna happen every single time. I tried to defend, there's not much I could do. It was literally either I sacrificed my left tower or I sacrificed my right tower. He got a big elixir advantage on me, So that's just the problem. But first 3 musketeers, I've noticed that usually when I get down one of their towers and we tower trade at the start, it's actually a good situation. It allows me to be able to build up a strong push, and they're not really going to 3-crown you, so you don't have to worry about them 3-crowning you. So you can go same lane as them and end up, I don't know, just ends up putting you in a good situation usually. So I punished at the bridge. He should have played his minion horde there, but for some reason he didn't. He goes to 3 musketeers, and because of that, I'm able to miner his pump, get a lot of damage on his tower, and Dark Prince is really good against 2 musketeers. I'm willing to sacrifice damage on my left tower, but basically here I just defend. You always want to play Prince versus Giant. Usually you want to play Prince versus like Battle Ram or something like that. And I sacrifice more damage on my tower, and I end up taking his tower in this push. I always want to counter push with Giant. Not always, but almost. You almost always want to counter push with Giant. And I end up taking the game. I made sure to Electro Wizard that Battle Ram, just to make sure it didn't somehow take my tower. From here, I'm just defending. If the game would have kept going, I probably would have lost, but it was over, and I managed to beat a hard counter, and he's mad because I beat a hard counter. So yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, we're up against Pompeo, which is very interesting because I was scared when I versed him because I knew he had Pekka, I knew he had Balloon, and I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna do versus this deck. But he didn't really have much to defend the princes, which is what ended up winning me the game. And I don't know, Pompeo has a really weird playstyle. He's really aggressive, like, but it works out. I don't even know. I play Miner there just because I didn't really have anything else to defend the Royal Ghost. And he draws back my Miner, so I have to defend with Dark Prince. Here I just poison his Electro Wizard. I know he's running Pekka, I know he's running Balloon. I didn't snipe him or anything, but I just knew he was because I watched one of my clanmates play him earlier. So here he goes aggressive with his Balloon, so I just Electro Wizard, get a lot of value on his Electro Wizard. I do Giant there because I know how Pompeo plays, and I know that he'll play troops at the bridge to like kill the Balloon, which is a very good play. So I kind of prediction Giant there to protect my Electro Wizard, make sure it doesn't die. And since he kind of over-committed on that offense, I'm able to go Prince, and I think I might end up taking the tower here. Nope, I don't end up taking the tower, but I made him waste an Electro Wizard. So now he's down even more Elixir. So this man is down a lot of Elixir. And at this point, I'm like, I'm not sure if he's playing Pekka, because I thought he was playing Pekka, but then he hadn't played it yet, so I was like, is he still playing Pekka? But I was still trying to be safe and, you know, play around the Pekka. I play my Dark Prince in the back because I'm saving all my air counters, I'm saving my Mega Minion. I know I have the advantage, so I don't want to throw the game somehow by wasting one of my air counters and having him counter push. I just miner because I'm at full Elixir, and I just need to finish off the tower with miners at this point. I still think he has the Pekka, so I'm probably not going to play my Giant here unless he plays his Pekka. Or, no, I do play my Giant. There, I also waited to play my Electro Wizard until the Spear Golems came down, because I knew he was going to play Spear Golems. I mean, he's kind of predictable how he plays. I end up taking the tower. I go ahead and throw a Prince. I figure I want to get that Pekka killed, and while my Giant is tanking for the Prince, I can kill the Pekka, hopefully, and it ends up working out pretty well. I try to miner his Electro Wizard. It doesn't work. And I end up leaking a bit of Elixir there, which is never good. Now at this point, I'm like, I'm not sure what to play. So I go ahead and I poison his attack. I kill that Electro Wizard. When you're defending balloons, you always want to kill, or a lot of times you want to kill whatever is behind the balloon first, because if you kill whatever's behind the balloon, then you can counter push. And that's exactly what I did. I killed the Electro Wizard first with the Prince. I sacrificed it, damage on my tower. I got a nice counter push, and I mean, if somehow we were still, like, I hadn't taken his tower, I would have got a ton of damage on his tower in that push also. So we end up beating Pompeo. Very good player, very interesting play style though. I never understand how he plays, but he's finished high a lot more times than I have, so I can't complain. Yeah. So then we're up against Jack. This is the dude who finished #1 last season. So, as I said, I never really want to start off the game. I think I might. Yeah, I don't even zap that. I know he's playing Hog Rider. So versus Hog Cycle, what you want to do is you want to go same lane as them at all costs. So I'm just waiting to see what he does. As soon as he plays a Hog Rider, I'm just gonna go Prince on it and then try to counter push. Basically, that's just how you want to play it. So here goes his Hog. I just go Prince. I probably don't even throw. I might throw a Dark Prince in front. I wouldn't think I would. Yeah, I don't throw a Dark Prince in front just because it's just not that good of a counter push. Usually you want to be counter pushing with Giant, not really Dark Prince. I do throw my Dark Prince opposite lane, which is... I'm pretty sure that was a misclick. I don't see any reason why I ever would have done that. But... yeah, I end up getting a lot of damage on this tower, which is really unfortunate, actually, because I should have played it in the other lane, and yeah. So there, he gets a lot of damage on the tower. He's ahead by a lot. It's really bad that I have damage opposite lane because I really want to be pushing same lane as him. I know I have an elixir advantage, so I go ahead and start my Giant in the back. Even if I didn't have an elixir... well, if I knew we were at the same elixir, I would have just waited for his move, but I knew I had an elixir advantage, so I threw my Giant in the back. I'm thinking my push probably isn't going to do too much here. I want to kill that musketeer, though. I don't want his musketeer counter pushing, so I go ahead and miner it. And he tries to protect his musketeer with an ice spear, but it ends up dying anyway. And there, I mean, I knew that push wasn't going to do much because he hadn't, like, wasted any elixir yet or anything like that. But here, this push, I'm pretty sure this might get, it doesn't get some damage. To be honest, if I would have really been keeping track of elixir, no, I think I played that fine. He's getting really aggressive with his Hog Shear though, and I'm just staying same lane as him. I'm down a lot of tower damage. He just overcommitted a lot on defense though, and because of that, I'm able to get a giant push now. He kind of just threw 2 hogs and didn't really get any value out of those hogs. So I'm kind of going all in here. He throws another Hog Rider, and at this point, I'm scared for my life. I'm like, oh crap, I lost this game. But I defend only 1 hit on the tower. I'm making sure I'm staying same lane as him. I'm trying to kill the musketeer as quick as possible because I'm not too worried about the cannon. The real trick is killing the musketeer because the musketeer get a ton of value. And I end up taking the game. I prince at the bridge just to make sure to finish it off, and GG to him. So really the trick there was you have to go same lane as the Hog. If you don't go same, even if they switch lanes, you have to switch lanes also. Like, you gotta always be same lane as the Hog. And usually I can win that. Occasionally I lose it, but usually that's a win if you go same lane. Versus, okay, I will just say, if you verse Golem with this deck, you kind of, as soon as they play that Golem, basically it doesn't really matter what lane you push. Like, say I have a Dark Prince going down the lane and they play Golem into my say I have a Prince going down the lane. If they play Golem into my Prince, then I'm going to go ahead and Giant on the same side of that Prince. Basically, when you play Golem, the trick is Giant in front of your Prince and save the Prince to kill the Golem. Like, those are tips I can give. You can kind of see how to play it. You kind of play it the same way you would play a Giant deck. And we have a Giant deck here, so if you're versing Golem, just play how I did in this match. Versus Giant, really the trick is you don't really want to be the first person to attack. You want to play defensive and you want to counter push. It's not a bad move to start off the Giant at the start of the game. And I think he might end up, I don't remember who makes the first play here. But really, I'm just thinking, well, I don't know what deck he has, first of all. He starts the Mega Minion, so I go ahead and play Giant in the back. He doesn't know what deck I'm playing either. I just go same lane as that Mega Minion. And he goes ahead and plays Giant. So now I know that this is a mirror match at this point. He does have Ice Spirit, which is actually better in a mirror match, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. I'm just going to let this Giant die. I know that I'm not going to get any tower damage this early in the game. So I just sacrifice my Giant, let it die. And at this point, I'm trying to cycle to my Prince. Because in a mirror match, if you don't have Prince in cycle, it's going to be really bad. But I don't think... Do I play the Prince? No, I do play the Prince. So I play the prince, I get the defense off, and I think I might even miner in front of this. Yeah. So there, the reason I got so ahead in elixir is because I sacrificed my giant there, and I made sure to defend on my side of the bridge, which is really what you want to be doing. So because of that, I ended up getting a ton of damage on his tower. I ended up defending really well, and well, from here, it's just like, I just want to go same lane as him and make sure to defend whatever he plays. I know I can finish off the other tower with just a poison and a zap or a miner or something. So I go ahead and throw my giant on the other side, knowing that I knew I wasn't sure if I had an elixir advance here. I knew we were pretty close on elixir, but it's not a bad play to play a giant in the back. So I went ahead and played it in the back. I do let my giant die. I just go ahead and poison just because it was a kind of a valuable poison. Killed the Electro Wizard and got some damage on the Prince. I go ahead and play my Dark Prince to tank, and at this point I'm just like, I don't need to take another tower. I'm just going to play straight defense. And even if I did need to take another tower, the way I'm playing right now is still a good way to play. He switches lanes on me, so I have to defend. And I get my Prince down. I put the Prince on the Giant, and I'm trying to cycle the Dark Prince to tank for the Prince, because defense in this deck versus any tank is all about the Prince. It's like a game of defend the Prince. The Dark Prince is there for splash damage units, but if you're not versing splash damage, then you're not really relying on the Dark Prince. You're relying on the Prince to do the damage and the Dark Prince to tank. So I end up taking the win there. And yeah, it was a pretty good game. So that's gonna wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I can finish higher on this account. I am 216th in the world. I'm not too worried about pushing higher. I'm pretty sure I can finish top 200. The real question is, can I finish like top 10? Or I would love to finish #1, but it's probably not gonna happen just because it's hard. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and VULKan out.